Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for FENIX360, and I am blessed to be joined today by the legendary saxophone player and author, Glen DeCosta. Glenn, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man.
Hi, Johnny boy. It's a pleasure meeting you, my friend.
His
I look
pleasure is
forward
all
to
mine. Thank you,
sharing
brother.
whatever I can.
Oh, man, I really appreciate it. There's such a storied past that you have, Glenn, and you've captured it recently in a book, This is Reggae. So I want to learn a little bit about the journey of you becoming an artist and also your collaborations with Bob Marley and the Wailers and others, Zapow. But first, okay, if we tune into your performance that you had when you were visiting in Maine.
Well, yes, that was maybe over 10, 12 years ago.
Beautiful, man. Well, gave them certainly a gift, and it was captured in a short documentary. And let's share a little bit right now. Everyone, let's tune in to the legend, the saxophone player, Glen DeCosta, as he visits in Maine.
I have a very young heart, and I think I can jump over the moon, even maybe when I'm 100. Well, being a studio musician, you butt up on each other in the studio from time to time. Peter Tosh and Bonnie Wheeler, and we were doing horns on most everybody's songs. The thing is that the recording industry has died. You might get a session now and then, once in a while. I mean, you can get a paycheck once in a while and live. Luckily, I have family and friends around who actually is there for me. But being here, there's so many opportunities. You ready?
He has played to millions of people through either his recordings or live. He'll sit in with anybody, but he also goes down and plays by himself outside and just works for tips. And very few people know who he is, and they're walking by the legendary Glen DeCosta.
This is what I love most. Music is my first love. The message in the music, truth, rights, and justice for all. We're one human race.
Glenn, blessed love, brother. Great to share your music and what talent, from your experience there in Maine. And now, will you do me a favor? Can you tell me where are you from originally and how did you first become called to music?
Well, I'm original from Trelawney. I'm a country boy
Yeah.
in the city of a place called Retirement, real deep country, My grandfather is from Portugal, and he bought an estate there over 100 acres of land where his family settled where I was born. But as a kid, my mom wanted to find a better way of life, so she come to Kingston when I was just 3 years old.
Okay.
I've never been back to live there, so I've been living in Kingston most of my life over the years, and moved around in so many places. The first place we went, I can remember, was Chestnut Lane, close to the Coronation Market there. It was a nice place. It's ghetto, of course. Most people come from the country, close to the ghetto, to find some way to survive.
Yeah.
So, and my mother was selling in the market also. So that was convenient for her to get somewhere close by.
I appreciate it, man. And even that public market is still a thriving market today down in Kingston. So
Yes.
let me ask you this question then. You know, what is it that first brought you into learning about music? Did it happen in school or in church?
Well, I was at a orphanage, Maxwell Park Children's Home at the age of 6. And I can remember parties playing around and you're hearing music. And I was really, really loving the music and feeling bad not able to attend because I was too young. Because at 6 or 7, 8 years old, you're not able to go to parties. So, but the music sunk in, you know. And funny, the kind of people I was listening to then was like Patti Page. How much is that dog in the window?
Right.
And of course, my friend, I can't remember the title of the song, but it said, "My friend stole my sweetheart away." I was dancing with my friend on the night when we were playing. Something or another to say. But it's Patti Page. And funny, I bust with that song, you know. I have the title of the song, but it's not coming to mind right now. But those were the kind, and not only she, but I was listening to even opera at the time. It was Maria Lanza who was the star opera performer in the 50s, you know, early 50s, or late 40s, early 50s. And he was a stalwart then, as the greatest world-renowned opera singer then. And I liked it.
Yeah. You know,
and of course there were classical music too, but I mean, music on a whole, I was just attracted to music, but I never had the opportunity to play from the orphanage either, because I didn't have a band there. But I graduated from there when I was 11, went to Alpha Boys School, and that's where my music journey started at the age of 11. I was always practicing saxophone after I left school.
I see.
And it's almost the same fingering as the clarinet, only that the G is where the C is for the clarinet, you know, on the saxophone, with your left-handed 3 notes there that you cover with the 3 fingers in front of the instrument is a G on the saxophone, but it's a C on the clarinet.
Okay.
But I mean, it's mathematics. So, you know, the next note after that is A going up, so it was no problem. So I taught myself the saxophone and I started playing. And when I joined, after I joined the 1st Battalion Jamaica Regiment now, I was also included in the dance band, playing saxophone.
Okay, understood. Yes, right.
And I spent 10 years, at least 9 years, playing saxophone and clarinet there.
I see. And was this and where was this located? Was that in Kingston?
Kingston, Jamaica, yeah.
Okay, so listen, and so that's ultimately then you started to get a reputation then, or well known that you were a local saxophone player. I'm curious now, how is it that Bob Marley and the Wailers discovered you?
No, well, for Bob, it was mainly recordings.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Bob unpicked us because he sent Vin Gordon to tell David Madden and myself that he wanted us as horn section, including Vin, to play trombone, David played trumpet, and me play the saxophone, to play with him for his recordings.
I see. Okay.
And the first album we played on was Natty Dread. That was about as a matter of fact, I think it was recorded in 1973, but released in 74. That was Natty Dread. And funny, my name not on it.
Why is that? You got cut out of the cuts.
That's the music business. That's how it is, you know.
Yeah, right.
In Jamaica, a lot of you know, people just come and play, and you do your job and you leave the studio. There wasn't a chart that everybody was listed who do play what, like abroad in most studios ago. Everything is documented. Nothing was documented. You just go in and play horns, and then you go to the next studio, some more horns, and some other people waiting for you. We're playing at 3-4 studios for the day sometimes.
Yeah.
Because Gordon and myself and Dave, we were doing a lot of horns from the 60s.
I see. Got it. Well, you know, I mean, it's just testimony to your talent and also your personality that Bob would gravitate and include you in those recording sessions and to be part of his circle. You know, you've captured a lot of the insights of those experiences over the years recently in a book that you've written called This Is Reggae, 22 years in the making, right? In terms of you've been putting together a lot of that information.
Yeah, I think it's about 21 years, because it happened after I was homeless on the road with the Wailers.
Yeah.
Homeless in the sense of sleeping on the street.
Mm-hmm. This
might sound funny, but it's true. You know, I had a night out sleeping on the concrete. I never knew this was possible. But after Bob passed, everything was quite different. It was not about the message of the music and the thing anymore. It was just about making money for a few people, of course, because most of us were like hired hands in the Wailers, and they changed members from time to time. After Bob passed, they went out with like 5 people. Family Man, Barrett, Tyrone, Lindo, Akali, and who else? I think it was 5 of them went out as the Wailers. They didn't take any horns or any backup singers with the I3s. It was just, you know, maybe more money to share up amongst 5 people instead of 10.
Yeah.
So, we didn't get to do anything with the Wailers after they branched out after Bob passed. That was, they went out on the road. After 84 was the only thing we did with all the Wailers members, separate and apart from Bob, including the I3s, was the Legend Tour 1984. And it's after that that the Wailers went out on their own, because I guess Family Man was waiting on Rita Marley to run things, which I was telling him, he can't wait on Rita. Rita is not a part of the band of such. The band, we are musicians. I mean, the transition can take place if the band go on and do their own thing. You know, I was trying to hit his elbow to let him know that we have to do something to hold our own. Bob is gone now. Not gone, but I mean, his past, you know, his memory is still there, but there's a chance for a transition and we should go on the road. But he was waiting on Rita. And after that, we never did anything more. So they went out on their own after, and they didn't take their horns with them. Until 1999, 15 years after.
I see. Well, it must have been quite sad for you being such a friend of Bob's, and you know what I mean, when he did pass, and you know, I'm curious, you know, because you guys did have a close friendship and relationship when you were working with him. You know what I mean? Is there anything that actually, when you think about him or recall him, that, you know, that he either said or did that, you know, is endearing to you?
Glenn? Well, Bob was younger than me, but he was a role model for me, in the sense of how he handled stardom with not exalting himself. He was very humble, and he had a sense of purpose. He knew how powerful the music was, and he was using it mainly to bring people together, to help to make this world a better place. That was his main purpose. As a matter of fact, at one point he said, music is his weapon. Because when they tried to assassinate him the night, I was there, and he got a shot in his arm, and he ran it. All of us were running from bullets, because he was at the back door talking to Don Taylor, the road manager, and the guy. They came in the vehicle from the front and came to the back, where Bob was. Apparently, they were searching for Bob because they came to kill him, and they realized that he was there, so they went to shoot him. And I can't say fortunately, but Don Taylor heard the shots, involuntarily shielded Bob, and got 5 of the shots that were meant for Bob. Maybe if he wasn't there, Bob would have been a dead man that night.
Right.
He was rushed to the hospital, and Bob also was, when we went to the bathroom, as a matter of fact, I saw the blood, and because Bob came in and was close to me, and I said, "Boy, you look like you get shot, Bob." And he said, "Look, so, you know." I wasn't too sure, but apparently everybody was panicking.
Yeah.
I saw the blood, and he said, "It looks so, yeah." And he said, "You get shots?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, you're a real soldier." He knew I was in the army. But Bob humored everything.
Yeah.
You know, in the midst of them coming to kill him, he's humoring the situation. He's saying, "You're a real soldier." He never even said, "He said, Zappo." Call me Zappo. Zappo, you're a real soldier, man. You know?
That's beautiful, bro.
It was a sad night, though. But my instrument got damaged the night. Couldn't play again. I didn't even get the show that we were rehearsing for. I didn't get to play on it. I think it was the One Love concert. I'm not sure, the peace concert. I have to look back on the date, because this was in 1976.
Yeah.
Yes. And but Bob did buy me an instrument, because he knew that it got damaged. I couldn't play it, and he got me a Mark 7, which was a freak instrument. It didn't last long because I pulled it off the market. He paid $4,500 for it. And I tried to trade it in, and I only got $450 for it.
Oh man. You know, but that's just testimony to his humor, his generosity, you know, his humility, you know what I mean? And all of those, you know, are also qualities that you possess and have continued to deliver long after Bob has left us. And so I really appreciate that. So a lot of this story and other kind of insights you've developed over the years with Zappow and other collaborations are captured in your book. So tell me about writing the book and the challenge around that, Glenn. What was that like to sit down and chronicle, you know, your life story?
Well, apart from the book, I would love to say something special about Bob that really inspired me.
Please do.
And humbled me as well, because Bob was never the kind of person who give instructions. He led by example. And because of that, we affectionately called him Skip, which means skipper of the boat. You know, he was so endearing to us. He was the first man on the bus when the bus come, not like these artists who hear the music on the radio and turn superstar overnight.
Yeah.
He was a superstar, and it never went to his head. He's the first man on the bus, the first one to rehearsal, and the last one to leave.
Yeah.
These young artists, they send the music for you to rehearse, and they come to a dress rehearsal and expect it to be perfect. Bob Marley's there for every rehearsal. I want to make sure that everything is right. That's a true artist.
Yes,
you know, he led by example, and I'm really, you know, impressed by him. I've learned a lot from him. You know, and I respect him dearly. I cried when he died. I cried living tears when he passed. You know.
Of course, man. And, you know, and you were truly blessed to be, you know, his compadre, you know what I mean? To be in his circle, to be his close friend, you know, to have him tease you like that, you know what I mean? In that state of turmoil when you guys were under fire and he was shot. And then afterwards, the legacy and the connection that he was able to foster for people around the world through his music. But it's almost like his lyrics and his writing was like scripture. It had this quality of energy.
Yes.
It is so, there's so much guidance and principled virtue in his lyrics.
Yes. He said, my music will find its people, and it will be a powerful force across the world. He said it long before it even happened. He knew what he was doing, and he was very, very meticulous with it. As a matter of fact, the guy who drove the vehicle to assassinate us the night, Bob the night, came on tour on the survival tour of 1969-79 as Bob's usher, carrying Bob food and clothes. And somebody called to tell Bob and tell us that that guy was the guy who drove the vehicle that came to assassinate Bob. And there was a guy on tour with Bob who was appointed himself as Bob's bodyguard. We called him Lip from Onyx Gardens. And he said, let's put him in the trunk of the car and carry him away. And Bob said, no, my weapon is the music.
Yeah.
And Bob saved that guy's life, although he came out to kill Bob that night.
Yeah.
When he came home after the tour, of course, someone shot him because, I mean, Bob had so much real fans. I mean, when they found out that this was the guy, he was shot. But I mean, Bob wouldn't be a part of that.
Of course.
But people who love Bob, you know, took it in their hands, and he never lived long after we came off tour.
Right. Listen, again, this is a tremendous, honor for me to hear this firsthand account and to learn about how he would even take kind of an adversary under his arm and still forgive and respect Lip, for still, wanting to be part of, even though he was actually recruited to be the driver of that assassination. It's an amazing story, man. And so again, back to the book. This is Reggae, and your story is this part. Can we hear some of that insight in the book?
Well, this book has so much dimension to it, my brother. I mean, my life story is involved. All of that is there. It's also the good times with Bob Marley and the Wailers, when Bob was alive in the 5-star hotels and everybody enjoying the journey, and the demise of the Wailers after Bob passed, because it was never about the music or the message or the musicians, or it was all about making money. It was all about money. As a matter of fact, I can't remember even getting any per diem, which is a standard procedure where you get money to buy food, because the promoters for the shows give money for the artists, and it was kept from us by the leader of the band, or whoever was managing the band, so-called. Yeah, I don't call it management. I call it Family Man Barrett and Jennifer Millian totalitarian regime in the book.
Got it.
As a matter of fact, I call it the Wailers damagement.
Damagement. I hear what you mean. Yeah.
Not management.
Yeah, damagement. Yeah.
Yes. That time they go on stage hungry because there was no food, because this guy kept our money for the per diem. I'm supposed to get to buy food during the week, and so you must buy food out of your salary, and sometimes you don't get paid for 3 weeks. So what you buy food from?
Right.
This is the kind of experience I had after Bob passed.
Right. Well, it's, what I think is honorable is that even in the demise of ultimately, the after Bob period of time, you still remain close to the roots at heart of what this music is all about, which is about connecting people and the truth.
Yes, for me, reggae music is a spiritual music, because I see the impact it made on the world, because I've traveled the world also with the Wailers and with other groups, and there's hardly anywhere you can go that people don't know Bob Marley. They don't even know Jamaica, because sometimes they ask, where you from? I say, Jamaica. They say, where is that? I say, okay, we're Bob Marley. They say, Bob Marley country.
Yeah, right.
They don't even know it as Jamaica. They call it Bob Marley country, So,
right.
I mean, it's well known because he's done so much, because he speak out. The music address the voiceless. It solicits for the voiceless, and also for the disenfranchised. For me, reggae music is a spiritual music, and I'm here to continue to carry the baton for reggae music. That's what my main purpose is,
Yes, that's a beautiful mission, man. And it's also, a mission that I've adopted too, in terms of wanting to support reggae music and reggae music artists for that same purpose, because I sense a spiritual aspect of the creators who are making this music, because I do think there's a divine inspiration that is thread through the waves of that music that is a healing vibration. And Bob, I think, understood that and was able to capture that and deliver it in such a unique way. And all of us that have been inspired by him afterwards, that continue to exalt and appreciate and share out this same one love spirit and connectivity. This, I think, is a very important mission. And Glenn, you've always been a representative of it in this way, but now it's really important as an elder who has now got these stories of the intimacies around your relationship with Bob and others that have culminated now into a gift, really, that celebrates reggae music in your title, This is Reggae. So let me after you had completed the book and had it published, how is it available for people? Where can people get it?
Well, McFarlane is the publishers, and I guess they are the people that they distributing it through: Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Reggaeville, and Amazon also.
Okay,
but I would love to give credit to my co-writer for the book. This book wouldn't have been possible without my friend and co-writer, Mr. Dave Peters.
Excellent.
When I mentioned to him, the song I was recording for him for Bob Marley is in his studio in Aspen, Colorado. And I told him about my experience of being homeless on the road, sleeping on the street sidewalk. Yeah. And they said, Glenn, you have to write a book.
No question.
And that's when the idea came to me. And I mean, he has been an integral part in actually making the book possible.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Yeah. Again, here you are again, offering kind of the credibility around your association with Dave and his effort and energy to make this book a reality, so I really appreciate him as well. And, and looking forward to, in essence, reading the book myself. And I'm encouraging everyone who's watching our interview today to go out and get it at the outlets that Glenn mentioned. And, Glenn, we're really happy that you're going to be part of the FENIX360 app family, where we can promote your book there and people can discover you there too. Because the digital world and social media has so much, it's such a noisy place. But in certain locations that are trying to continue that legacy of integrity and collaboration and connection, yours is a story that I hope will, catch fire, man. It's so good to connect with you.
Yeah, well, the book will catch a fire, I'm sure, because even when I'm reviewing it, I can't wait to see the next page, and it's my book, so you can imagine if I get that kind of response from it. I can imagine, because I've read some of the books and I get bored after 10, 15 pages.
Yeah.
But for this book, there's so many dimensions to it. The history of Jamaican music is in it also. Pop music over 100 years ago. Who, when, and where it started. Also, the demise of the Wailers after Bob passed. And of course, my journey also playing with so many other groups.
Yes.
And the political climate in Jamaica that caused one of my brother's death. And also the police brutality that caused another brother's death. It's also in the book, because I wanted people to know exactly what Jamaica is about. Not only the reggae music. The reggae music represents Jamaica, but I wanted to know firsthand, what's really going down in the country, politically and otherwise,
Yes, some of the colonial oppression that still exists today,
Yes, so
and I do appreciate the fact that the spirit of this book as well is to be revealing and to, in essence, tell the truth from your perspective, but that is authentic and your own unique frequency and perspective. So I really appreciate that. But it's basically, we're talking about 40, 50 years period of time in which it is capturing, correct?
Yes, well, I've been in the music industry over 71 years.
How about it, man? That's incredible legacy,
But
brother.
70 to be honest, because 11 I started at the
Yeah.
age of 11, and I'm 81 now, so it would be
Oh man,
70
you look
years. Yeah.
really good, Glenn. I never would have known that. But at any rate, brother, it is so cool to meet you, to spend this time together. You know, put it this way, I got one more question before before we depart, and that's, an elder like you. There are aspiring artists that are coming up and struggling and trying to figure out their way in this world and through the music industry. Is there any, kinds of words of wisdom or inspiration that you would offer to keep them at it?
Yes, definitely. And I would love to. And I feel a sense of responsibility to do so, because there's so much derogatory stuff coming out now that sometimes makes me sick. And I've been criticizing it, and I'm trying to do my best to address the situation myself by producing young artists and guiding them along the path of roots reggae music and what reggae music really stands for, and not to let them get carried away with this dancehall stigma that have no respect for ladies or rule of law or anything, talking about
Violent,
posse and
yeah.
guns and violence, all that. We don't need that in the music.
Agreed.
I do lectures sometime in colleges and universities, and I try to use a metaphor to let them know when you digest music, the wrong kind of music is like rubbish. And if you absorb rubbish, what do you become? You become a dustbin.
Right.
And I asked them, do you want to be a dustbin? They said, no. I said, well, you have to listen to good, uplifting, edifying, music that will make you a better person, mold you, to be, to contribute to society positively, and to have the right mindset and to respect your fellow beings, and especially ladies. I don't know who their mother is, talking about women body parts and, but my mother, as far as I'm concerned, is an angel.
Yes, sir.
And I respect, especially Jamaican women, I respect them to the max, because a lot of them have 4, 5, 6 kids with no fathers around. Right. They are so resilient in our country. They are the fabric of the society in the sense of keeping the family together. So I have great respect for them. I would never play with a guy who sing that kind of song if he's even give me $10 million for the night. No.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And I think that's a very, inspired wisdom and excellent inspiration to be able to offer to a young aspiring artist, to try and keep the music integral and to keep it honoring. And that's what I think is the spiritual essence of Roots, is truly, honoring Jah and our connection to everything living. So I really, I'm a student of this and a novice one, but it's to have the opportunity, the privilege and honor to meet with you, Glenn, man, has just been the greatest. So listen, after our interview, what I'm going to do is when I post this to our YouTube channel, I'm going to post your social media links there too, and also links on where people can get the book. So I want everyone to tune into the social media links that I post below for Glen DeCosta and look for him rising on the FENIX360 app. And my brother, enough respect, man. My pleasure. This has been great for me.
Yes, brother. My advice to young artists is to write message, reality, or love. That's it.
That's it, man.
If you're going to go for the gimmick and the bling and the hype and all that, it's empty. It takes you nowhere. And good music never die.
That's
right. It will live. It will live on forever. Good music live forever.
Us. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Glenn, respect, blessings, brother. Best to your family, all your friends, everyone out there in Maine and throughout Jamaica and the rest of the world. We sure appreciate you, brother. Take good care.
It's a privilege and an honor for me to be with you, brother Johnny. My friend, my brother is Johnny also, and he passed on, so I know I have a new brother.
Yes, you do, brother. You and me, man.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah.
Peace, brother.
All right. It's a privilege, man. Honor. Take care.
Honor.